Hello there. Welcome to today's self-help session, where we delve into the hidden layers of human kindness and the nuanced challenges that often accompany a gentle spirit. I want to share some insights about a particular type of person, someone whose kindness speaks softly but resonates powerfully. You've likely encountered them, the individual who opens doors without fanfare, listens without judgment, and asks for nothing in return. Perhaps you are one of them. These quiet, empathetic people are the everyday heroes we rarely celebrate. They don't flood social media with their good deeds, nor do they stand at the front of the line waiting for a round of applause. Instead, they offer their generosity simply because that's who they are. They help shape our world in quiet, essential ways, but ironically, these kind souls often find themselves alone once the spotlight shifts away. Why does this happen? Well, from a self-help perspective, it's all too easy for society to overlook kindness, even though we praise it in poetry, philosophy, and religion. We talk about how important it is to be caring and compassionate, yet when we see it in action, we may take it for granted. People who are too nice can become invisible, especially when others come to rely on their helpfulness like it's an endless resource. One reason behind this dynamic is emotional labor. Each time a kind person assists with a task, listens to a friend's worries, or offers support to a stranger, they invest a piece of their energy. Often they do so without expecting a return on that investment. Over time, though, consistently giving without acknowledgement or reciprocity can drain even the most caring individual's spirit. They might not ask for a thank you, but, let's be honest, a small token of appreciation can truly recharge a person's morale. Without it, there's a risk of emotional burnout. Yet many kind people have been raised or conditioned to see asking for acknowledgement as selfish, so they soldier on in silence, until their emotional reserves run dangerously low. Another area we need to unpack is conflict avoidance. Some gentle souls shy away from confrontation, not because they're incapable of standing up for themselves, but because they prioritize harmony. They know how damaging harsh words and heated arguments can be, not only to themselves but to others. Their capacity to empathize gives them a deep understanding of just how painful conflict can become. So they choose to absorb frustrations and keep the peace, sometimes at the expense of their own well-being. This is often mistaken for weakness. In reality, it's a deliberate, strength-based decision to minimize hurt in the world. However, constantly sidestepping conflict can create unintended consequences. People around them might start pushing boundaries, making more and more demands, or overlooking their feelings entirely. It's not always malicious. Often, it's just that everyone gets comfortable relying on a person who never complains or pushes back. Truly kind individuals are usually genuine to the core. They don't hide behind masks or play mind games. What you see is what you get. In a world that sometimes rewards superficial charm or cleverly packaged personas, true authenticity can feel out of place. Because of this, genuine kindness may be interpreted as naivete. Regrettably, opportunistic people might exploit that sincerity. Others mistake it for gullibility and think, they'll forgive me no matter what, or I can take advantage of their generosity. This can sting deeply for the kind person who never intended to open the door to manipulation. They simply wanted to extend warmth and understanding. Because they value depth of connection over breadth, kind people often have fewer yet more meaningful relationships. They don't chase after large social circles or try to collect acquaintances like trophies. Instead, they seek genuine bonds where mutual respect, empathy, and trust can flourish. This approach can make them feel isolated at times because the modern world often prizes numbers, followers, friends, likes over real connections. It's not that they can't be social, quite the contrary. Their natural empathy attracts people who need comfort or compassion, but not everyone is ready or willing to return that level of emotional investment. Kindness usually comes with a wide-open heart. That vulnerability is a double-edged sword. On one side, it allows kind folks to connect deeply with others, offering a level of empathy and care that's truly transformative. On the other side, it leaves them exposed to deeper pain and disappointment. Even small slights, a forgotten text, a dismissive comment, can hurt more than outsiders might imagine. Because they're so attuned to emotional undercurrents, they sense every shift in tone, every hint of neglect. They may question themselves, did I do something wrong? Am I not good enough? Even when it's clearly their fault. Yet despite these wounds, they remain open-hearted. They continue to believe in the goodness of people even after being taken for granted. This resilience in the face of heartbreak is part of what makes them extraordinary. Now let's talk about solitude. Many of these kind, gentle individuals end up spending time alone. Not necessarily by choice, but because they haven't found the relationships that truly nurture their spirit. Over time, though, this solitude can become a place of renewal. When they spend time in their own company, they begin to see their worth apart from how they serve others. They reflect on their desires, rediscover personal interests, and learn to set boundaries. Solitude can transform from a lonely consequence into a wellspring of self-awareness and strength. It's crucial to remember that solitude does not always equal loneliness. Some of the most centered, compassionate people use those quiet hours to recharge, reflect, and realign with their core values. Rather than pouring all their energy into external validation, they learn to nurture themselves too. Above all else, it's important to recognize that kindness is a brave choice, especially in a world that can sometimes be cynical and dismissive. Continuing to offer gentleness, compassion, and empathy in an environment that isn't always appreciative is no small feat. Kindness isn't about seeking approval or praise, it's about acting in accordance with your values. It's about showing empathy when it would be easier to be indifferent, choosing cooperation over competition, and truth over facade. If this resonates with you, if you see yourself in these words, know that your form of quiet courage is exactly what the world needs more of. One, set boundaries. Practice saying no when necessary. This doesn't diminish your kindness, it protects your capacity to remain kind in the future. 2, value your own needs. It's not selfish to take care of yourself. You can't fill others' cups if yours is empty. 3, seek out like-minded connections. Find communities online or offline where kindness is celebrated rather than exploited. 4, learn constructive conflict. Address issues before they escalate. Calm honesty can prevent misunderstandings and protect your peace. 5, embrace solitude. Reflect on your life, your choices, and your desires. Use your alone time to recharge and rediscover what lights you up inside. Before we wrap up, I want to remind you that your gentle spirit is not a liability. It's a strength that may occasionally lead to some heartache, but it also serves as a beacon of hope in a world that sorely needs it. If you've ever felt alone on this journey, understand that you're not the only one who has struggled with these contradictions, giving so freely while yearning for genuine acknowledgement. The truth is, your presence, your empathy, and your authenticity make a difference, even when you don't see immediate results. You plant seeds of kindness in countless interactions, and those seeds can blossom in unseen ways. Keep nurturing that open heart, but also remember to nourish yourself. You deserve that same level of compassion and understanding you so readily offer to others. Thank you, Acquisition, for listening in today and for taking the time to reflect on these ideas. Feel free to share your thoughts or experiences in the comments below. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear. Until next time, remember, kindness is a quiet form of courage, and every act of compassion leaves a mark on this world, whether it's recognized or not.